So I was a server moderator for a bit over a year now, and I've interacted with a lot of people in the Minecraft community. There's a lot of good apples in the community, but there's also a lot of bad ones. So naturally, with any community, it makes sense to try to control that toxic side so more people are drawn into the game by the positive side. This seems to be exactly what Mojang is doing with their newest 1.19.1 update. They've implemented chat moderation and player reporting. Now this makes a ton of sense. They're trying to implement things to help make every community safe for the sake of the larger game. But there are a lot of misconceptions about the chat moderation features, and I recently dug a bit deeper to find out what would really happen with this feature. Minecraft actually released an article, an FAQ on the features that help address these misconceptions, and that's where I'll be pulling from for the most part. Also, there will be timestamps on this video for you to jump to a specific place if you're concerned about one specific piece of this. All right, let's get into it. So why exactly did Mojang add this feature? Well, the main reason is they're trying to ensure the safety of all the Java Minecraft players. Without moderation, communities tend to be pretty toxic, so using this gives people an incentive to be better. So why exactly are they getting involved with third-party server player reporting? Why not just the realms? Well, there's actually a huge difference between what's being added to realms and what's being added to servers. On servers like here on Hypixel or Origin Realms or any other server that you may join, the only thing that's being added is player reporting. On realms, however, they're adding player reporting as well as a profanity filter. This is specifically because obviously realms are a Mojang thing and they don't want profanity on those. That makes total sense, but third-party servers, they don't have that. So what's the difference between the player reporting and the profanity filter? Well, player reporting is completely reliant on players and doesn't actually handle profanity at all. That is up to the server, and they will deal with that. Player reporting is a completely different system, and we'll show you how it's different here in a moment. According to the FAQ, Mojang says all Minecraft players are bound to follow our community guidelines, but not all servers provide players a way to report or resolve violations of those guidelines. Player reporting is an additional resource for players who experience abuse, which can happen on any multiplayer Minecraft session, including private servers. I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think it makes a lot of sense that Mojang added this because it's another resource for people to resolve terrible situations. So that moves us on to, can I get banned for swearing or profanity? The answer is actually no. You can't get banned for profanity on a third-party server, at least through Mojang. The server may have their own rules, and so if you're banned for profanity by that, it wasn't Mojang's fault. The chat report system is something that's always initiated by a player. They have to click the buttons and they have to report it themselves. There's no way for Mojang to flag it themselves. According to the FAQ, they said, no, we will not ban players just for swearing or profanity. The type of behavior that will get you banned is hate speech, bullying, harassing, sexual solicitation, or threatening others. These behaviors will have the consequence of a temporary suspension or permanent ban depending on the severity and frequency. That makes more sense. That's a little bit better. I was primarily concerned with my private server that I would be flagged for testing my chat filter, but that won't happen. Like, all of it is based through the player. So what exactly can you get banned for? Well, if we actually go into the player reporting menu, you can see all the report categories here. I won't read through them myself. You can see them all here, and they're all listed on their website. As you can see, also, if you click into one of the options, it gives you a description for what it is. So let's say I report someone for harassment or bullying, and I hit done. I can go up here, select the chat messages that were really terrible, and I'll just do that. All right. You can only choose 4, so keep that in mind, and then go done, and there we go. So the chat message report is ready to go. All of these very much feel like things that would be banned for on a regular server as well, so I don't think this is a bad thing at all. So then will I know if I was banned and why I might have been banned? The answer is absolutely yes. Why would they not tell you that? Pulling from the articles again, the reason and duration of a ban will be displayed on the ban screen when launching the game from version 1.19.1 onward. For older versions, the ban reason will be stated when attempting to join a multiplayer session. So yes, the screen will tell you the ban duration and the ban reason. Is this ban permanent? This was a really interesting question to me because I was actually very confused about this. So ban durations for these things actually will vary depending on the severity and the frequency of what you were doing. So for example, if you're consistently harassing someone, maybe that's something that will be banned for longer. For the most part though, they will be temporary bans, not permanent bans. As they said in the article, permanent bans are reserved for the most severe or recurring abuse. So for the most part, it will be temporary. Does this feature affect private servers? The answer is absolutely yes. As you can see, I'm on a server right now with literally just me and my alt account, and as you can see here, player reporting, it all works just fine. You can do the whole thing here. You can select all the chat messages like I did earlier. You can give the details. Wow, so many details. So yes, it does work on private servers, but we'll get into a little bit more details and nuances of that in a moment. Does this feature affect single player? So no, it does not at all. This is a super quick response. Player abuse reporting is only available in multiplayer sessions where players can send chat to each other. The one thing I'm not sure about is LAN sessions. And I think player chat reporting will work on that as well, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't think they actually explained it, so that might be something to look up. Is my chat constantly being monitored by Mojang? The answer to this one is absolutely no. They don't constantly moderate the chat. The only way Mojang is going to see your chat and what is being said on the server is if it is being reported. Players can use the reporting tool when they see actions that break the community standards and feel that Mojang Studios needs to step in. Is Mojang managing chat or deleting messages? Or as it says in the article, are you using bots to moderate my chat? The answer is no. They're not using chat moderation bots in any way to alter delete chat on private Java servers. They're going to be completely relying on players, which does have some dangers, obviously, but I think it's good that they're not actively moderating it. They'll only take action when someone reports something. So what exactly does get sent to Mojang? This is one of the big questions that I actually had and was concerned about. Pulling from the article, when reports are submitted, our team reviews not only the phrase reported, but the surrounding context and the authenticity of the report to determine if our community standards were violated. And then from the FAQ, when a report is sent, surrounding chat lines are sent along with the reported messages to give our investigators more context of what was going on in the game. So essentially what's being sent is the chat messages that are being reported, the name of the player reporting, and some of the surrounding chat context. The system requires you to select the chat messages as well as select the category. So this means that Mojang is not taking in all of your chat messages. They're only taking in surrounding context as well as the reported messages. My concern was that they were actively tracking everything that was going on the server and then somehow like saving all of that data, but it looks like they're actually just pulling a section from the chat and then uploading that as the evidence. Instead of pulling everything, they're just pulling some context. This also means that your messages can't be taken out of context. The system automatically sends context, so if you're sending something that doesn't make sense out of context or that is super terrible out of context, they'll see the context. It's forcing it to take into context so that people don't make bad decisions. That was the simpler method of explaining that, but I think it works. So is there a way for someone to fake chat messages to get me banned? Chat forgery is something that I didn't actually know was a concern and didn't even know existed really, but yeah, people can fake chat messages. The concern is that these would be sent in with the report and things could be taken out of context and then people would be banned unfairly. But according to the FAQ, 1.19 introduced cryptographically signed chat, which prevents the forging and or rearranging of player messages. Any message that has been forged will be flagged for the investigators. So this basically means people can't fake your chat messages and send those in as evidence to get you banned. But no system is perfect, so what happens if I am banned unfairly? Well, there is actually an appeal form. The form includes a bunch of details so they can find your case and then a spot to explain what happened and why you should be unbanned. Typically though, the bans are only temporary, so even if you're not able to get unbanned for something, the ban will run out and you'll be able to join back in again. But it is very good that they have an appeal form because obviously people make mistakes. It's an imperfect system. An appeal system is very good. So why exactly is this feature an account ban instead of a per server ban? Well, this is essentially a decision on Mojang's part to protect their platform entirely from banned players. In reality, it's an opinion-based decision, so it makes sense to be a little bit frustrated with that, but it is their game and their platform, so they're allowed to make that call. If someone doesn't follow their community guidelines, then they'll be removed from the platform. That's what they settled on. And really, it is nice for us base players that aren't being toxic, because if we know someone is banned on one server for this stuff through Mojang, then they won't be able to join any of our servers, and I think that's a good thing. So then what about people like creators being mass reported? Pulling from their FAQ, the volume of reports does not correspond to an automated action being taken on a report. The report chat evidence is always the basis of any action. The volume of reports does not constitute as more evidence. Essentially what that means is that, yeah, no, mass reporting won't happen. Because Mojang has human interaction on every single report, that means that they have to take in the context, and so a mass reporting won't take any sort of action automatically. It has to be done through the moderator. I think this human interaction actually does really help with this mass reporting problem because, yeah, people have to take in the context before they take any action. So there's no automated system for that. I think that's really, really good that Mojang did that. Obviously, it takes more work for the moderators to do stuff, but I think it's actually a good thing because it eliminates that sort of automatic bot problem where something is just automatically banning you for no reason and you can't do anything about it. So then what happens to someone that might be, you know, building a bot or something to spam reports? Mojang says abuse of the report system with multiple/fake reports will result in action taken against the reporter, including temporary or permanent bans depending on the severity and frequency of the abuse. Since the reports can't be anonymous, they can't just abuse it. Players are responsible for the reports that they create, and abuse of the player reporting system can lead to temporary or permanent bans depending on the severity and frequency of their abuse. So then what if someone hacked into my account? Well, this is kind of on you. Unfortunately, if an attacker has gained access to your account, we would not be able to distinguish between you and them. That's why it's important to enable two-factor authentication, use a strong password for your account, and don't install untrusted mods or programs. Basically, be safe on the internet. If you don't have two-factor authentication on, or if you're using a really bad password, maybe you should consider changing those things before you ask questions like this. I personally have it turned on for all of my accounts, and as much as a pain as it is sometimes, I know for a fact that I won't be hacked because of it. The reality is, you are responsible for whatever happens on your account. So if something that your account does gets banned, that is something that was done with your account, and your account was held responsible for it, and your action was taken on the account that was held responsible. The person behind the screen is not the problem because no one can see the person behind the screen. They can only see the account. So if the account's doing something bad, we got to deal with the account. There's really no way to avoid that. And there's really no way to prove that your account was hacked. So you really just have to, you got to make sure your stuff is secure, bro. Take those actions to protect yourself. So then what do I think about this situation? I think this system overall is actually a really good system. I personally feel like there were a lot of concerns at the start that made it hard for me to like the system, but after doing some good extensive research on the system for this video, I think it's better than I initially thought. I only have a couple concerns with this system, one of which is people like creators being false banned right before they need to work or join an event. There's still humans involved in this, so the system isn't going to be perfect, so I'm sure situations like this could arise. And while I'm still concerned about it, I do think these situations will be pretty rare, or they'll be completely avoided, depending on how the information is sent to the moderators, but it is still something I'm concerned about, especially as I'm starting to, you know, get involved in this place. Like, I don't want to be false banned before I have an event to do. This does, however, tie into my second concern, which is human error. Of course, anytime there's a system that is primarily driven by humans, there are bound to be errors made, and in my opinion, I'm not sure the appeal form would give quite enough context to unban someone that was banned unfairly. I do understand, though, that the human interaction part of this is a huge part that makes this work well, so I don't think we should change that aspect, but I do have one thing that I think we could add to this to make it a little bit better. My big suggestion would be have something in-game where the player has the opportunity to send their chat logs to Mojang as well, so if they really feel like they were banned unfairly, they can send all of the context. Of course, this would have to be an optional thing, so people can check the like a box or something to say send my chat logs with this, because not everyone will be comfortable with Mojang reading all of their chat information, and that makes total sense. However, I do think this would help a ton with context for the moderators. I know firsthand the value of good context, so having just more information rather than less information is always better. Anyways, regardless of those two things, I am so much more comfortable with this system after researching all of this. As someone that's worked for a long time in the server moderation space, I can confidently say this will be a good system. It won't be a perfect system, but it will be a good system. So yes, hopefully that breakdown helped you stay informed. If you want a break from studying this big old new feature and all of the new Minecraft craziness, then you should check out this hilarious illusioner map I made to destroy my viewers.